I heard the sirens all night, and so one of the other faculty members on campus called me that also lives close and said, there's been a shooting, and so I drove down and just could see the police, and it was just, it was like reliving the time that I was in homicide. It was reliving it all over again, that although this is a small community, it's just like living in a big city, because here I could see the ropes and the yellow tapes and the police and the helicopters, and I thought, I just hope it's not, one of our students.
It couldn't happen here. On a thriving campus on the banks of the Monongahela River, a seemingly safe place for parents to send their children in search of education. It couldn't happen here, where more than 9,000 students work to develop their minds and their characters, far from the problems of the inner city and its daily headlines of mean street violence. It couldn't happen here. But in the early morning hours of October 17th, it did. In a hail of gunfire, a Pittsburgh man with a bright future fell mortally wounded during an off-campus homecoming weekend party near California University of Pennsylvania. The senseless death of Jerron Xavier Grayson shook the university community to its very foundations. A candlelight vigil united faculty, students, and town residents in their grief, their disbelief, and their fears. And when the vigil ended, grief was replaced with questions. Students and faculty began to ask, how did it happen here? And more importantly, how can we stop it from happening again?
I really believe that his death is really what CalU needed to recognize where we need to go as an institution, where students had to say, why are we here at CalU? Are we here just to get a degree, or are we here to impact society and the world? And I think that's what came from it.
And it's not often that you see people really wanting to help with issues until something this big happens. And when something this big happens, it's like everyone now wants to be like, okay, I want to do something and I want to help. But the biggest thing for me was, I didn't want them just to help for 2 weeks after Jerron Grayson's death and say, okay, we did this for 2 weeks, okay, everything's going to be cool again. Because it's not something that's going to change just over 2 weeks. This is something that we have to be consistent and persistent about. And we have to do it over and over so that we show not only ourselves, but the CalU community and everyone else, the faculty, the staff, everyone, our peers, that, hey, we're not going to let this happen again.
Breaking the cycle of violence may require a careful study of the past. For Darnell Drury, a crisis responder for the National Organization for Victim Assistance, clear road signs exist to curb future violence. Drury visited CalU in the wake of the shooting to help students cope with the incident.
Why are we where we're at? Go back to the beginning, because I didn't pay attention to something, I didn't pay attention to the signs on the road, and that's why I'm in a traffic jam. I didn't pay attention to someone saying, oh, I didn't pay attention to the news telling me there's a traffic jam, and that's why I'm in this traffic jam. And that's the same thing with violence. I didn't pay attention to the signs. Those signs that we're all aware, and you find out those signs from past experiences. And we still, even in past experiences, we still have not paid attention to signs. So I keep going through the same thing over and over again. And it puts us in a place of insanity. I've heard a lot of people say, how do you define insanity? Doing the same thing, expecting different results. We keep doing the same thing. We keep coming up with the same programs. We keep talking to the same people. A lot of times we don't even talk to the people who are affected or involved in violent crimes. We come up with everyone around the table, and most of them are not committing crimes. Most of them have not been affected by a crime. And a lot of times we don't bring to the table the people that are committing crimes and the people that are affected by crimes the most.
I think the community plays a big role in what our diversity initiative is, and also the 18th, because the community was impacted as well. And that would be the Mon Valley community. I mean, although we lost Jerron, we also lost a young man to the criminal justice system, which happens quite a bit. So, and he was from Mount Valley area. So I think the community recognizes that this is a collaborative effort so that we can make this community better for everyone. And these students are our future leaders. They're the ones that are going to impact this community for us. So we need to invest in them. And this is the way that CalU is doing. We're investing in them so that they can become, men of character, women of character, and impact this, this global community.